And we're live. Today on First Cup, we're going to go behind the scenes on my life, because we always do that. And then we've got some quotes from some famous boxers to unpack. And I'll tell you about the martial arts classes that I'm going to go visit this week. So stick around. In 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Tuesday. It is August 17th, 2021. Yes, I had to double check. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. No, coffee came in a little weak. I still haven't dialed this in. I feel like some days 4 tablespoons is enough for this, and other days like today, I don't know, can you see? And I feel like other days it's not. I don't know what the difference is. Maybe it just needs more time to brew. Maybe I got to open that up a little bit. I don't know. Good morning, Stacy. Well, I hope you all had a good Monday. I had a pretty good Monday. We had good reaction to yesterday's episode of Martial Arts Radio. Good morning, Daniel. Had my lumber and cinder block delivery. I'm looking out at my slightly upgraded fire pit. And by upgraded, I mean that it's got a second level of cinder blocks. So when I light a fire, the wind won't just blow down the hill and put it up. Because that's what was happening. When I started, there we go. That's a better word. When I started a fire over the weekend, I just threw a little gasoline on it. I've got some gasoline that ended up with some, let's just say there was a hornet's nest, and this was before the flamethrower, and it almost went really wrong, and that gas can has some fire extinguisher stuff in it. I use it to start fires. That's all I can do with it. Daniel says, a lumber delivery, save it for a month and trade it for a new car. Actually, prices are coming down, fortunately, knock on wood. And that's part of why I only bought what I did. I may, depending on how the day goes, but probably not get outside and do some of that work. I'm going to put in a couple. I got enough for 4, but I'm going to put in 2. I'm calling them raised rows, 12 inches wide, for fall planting. You know, there's enough time. There's enough time, and actually, the way fall has been going the last few years, might have plenty of time to get a few things in. So I got to get those done so I can get them planted. Today we are running off a cable, no Wi-Fi, so no messages that things aren't working well. Oh, hey, we can turn this banner off. This one. There we go. We'll see how it goes. I found a network cable that was long enough. It's like right to there. So we should have the best possible connection. What else happened yesterday? Made some plans. Made some plans for later this week. I'm going to visit a martial arts class today. Technically 2. If I like the first one, I'll stick around and watch the second one. We'll see. And then going to train at 1 tomorrow. Now, if you listen to any episode, I'm going to fidget. If you listen to any episode of Martial Arts Radio where I offer advice on how to get started at a new school, how to check it out, what to do, what to watch for, you know, just don't build the fire pit with a lumber. No, I would not. You know that I always advocate for watching a class first. Now, the school that I'm going to go check out today, it's a newer school. I don't know anybody at it. I don't know the instructors. I don't know their reputation. I know nothing about them other than they're teaching at this school. So I'm going to go watch. And I may be pressured to come train, to get on the floor. Nope. I watch an entire class. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to go check out a class with a friend who's been training there for a while, training under someone who I don't even know how many dozen mutual connections we have. I know the reputation of this person, and I am comfortable. Here, I feel like this is, oh, there we go. That's a little better. And I am comfortable. Ooh, it's crooked though. There, that's better. I am comfortable stepping in. Why am I comfortable in one, not the other? Because I don't feel my safety might be compromised. Unfortunately, as someone who has trained a while, stepping out on the floor in the wrong school can be risky. You have people who like to make examples. You have instructors with damaged egos who like to say, hey, you want to show the class this thing, and then you show them a thing, and then they're like, boom, and they punch you in the face. You know, it's like, it's not necessary. Daniel's asking, what are they teaching? More Taekwondo or something else? The school tomorrow is a karate school. The school tonight is a multidiscipline Thai school. There's some Muay Thai. There's some, I should say, Southeast Asian. There's some Kali. There's a variety of things that these folks are teaching. None of them have been training that long, less than a decade. But these are arts I know nothing about. So they're more than qualified, theoretically, to teach me. It's also a new school, and the thing that drew me in is they are very pro cross-training. And that is not something you find at a lot of martial arts schools. So at the very least, I need to go meet them, say hi. It's kind of my job. Good morning, Tommy. Look at all my friends in the chat. Appreciate all you being here. Today, Andrew and I are going to knock through some some episodes. We've got, I think, 3 or 4 things lined up. We're going to do an episode unpacking the flexibility program, which graphic work is taking a step forward. I posted some things yesterday on Fiverr. If you haven't used Fiverr, Fiverr's pretty solid. Fiverr's a great option. You got to know how to work the platform, but I do because I've been using it for a while. So we'll get that stuff going on. But we'll get that program out because I think martial arts radio, it's our #1 tool for telling people about things. So we might as well use our own tools to tell people about things. There was a comment on, I think it was the commercial that we recorded, which if you haven't seen, is just me being ridiculous. And I had a lot of fun doing it. But there was a comment from someone who, they sounded so thankful. They wrote this long response. They'd been looking for a flexibility program and found that either the free information out there wasn't what they were looking for. It wasn't comprehensive, or at the very least, it wasn't for martial artists. And the other programs they were finding were very expensive. Sweet. Here you go. Here's a free thing. Check it out. I can't tell if the coffee's getting better. If this show was bigger, I think I'd have one person who just made the coffee. Be like, your job is to make the coffee also. I almost put cinnamon in it this morning, but I didn't want to. I still hold by the salt. If you're not putting salt in your coffee, you're doing it wrong. And I'm waiting for the day someone asks me, how do you take your coffee? Black with a pinch of salt. I want to watch their face. Yeah, try it. It's so good. So good. Stacy says, saw the TikTok plug. Totally funny. Yeah, I'm having a good time over on TikTok, and that's the whole concept for the flexibility video came as it was TikTok first. What am I going to do to promote this over here? Okay, we'll do that. And it came out well, and I hit the 30-second mark, which was the goal, and so we put it out everywhere. And I think we even, there's paid, we put a little bit of money behind it as paid advertising. But Facebook ads are really weird. Sometimes they do really well, sometimes they don't. And I don't know why. I should know. People pay me for this stuff, but social media, especially Facebook, is so hit or miss right now. It's really strange. I mentioned yesterday the spring in the back corner, and I have to admit I've been obsessing over it because the water's not slowing down. There's plenty of water. So for 36 hours, it just put out a steady stream of water. I think this is pretty deep. I think it's tied to some aquifer. And that means I've got this idea of growing. Some of you are going to think this is gross. Some of you are going to think this is kind of neat. What about growing freshwater mussels in my backyard? I don't know anybody doing that. So I have to do a bunch of research. But I'm tempted to just start digging a hole and see what happens. These are the things that I do when I'm not working. I dig holes and cut trees. It's kind of like a small farm. If anybody's been here, you know I pretty much run this place like a small farm. Hence, when they delivered cinder blocks yesterday, I needed 6, but I ordered 12 because you never know when you're going to need cinder blocks. Salt is an old sailor's trick. I didn't know that. For coffee or just for life? Because salt's pretty good. Now, there's something I wanted to show you. I don't talk about this stuff a lot because it gets adjacent to these online communities that can be a little extreme. We could make a shirt that said, he digs holes and he knows things. I know some things. I like that. Of course, a reference to Game of Thrones. But there are these communities online and they talk about EDC, everyday carry. What are the things that you carry on you? And some of these folks are survivalists. Some of them are other people. Some of them are weirdos. Well, I have a real thing for knives. And this is the one that I've been carrying lately because I like the style of the blade. I bought one for my brother-in-law for Christmas a couple years ago and really dug it. So I bought one for myself. I think it's like a $35 knife in Columbia River, the Pilar. I always have a knife on me. Now, most of the time, I don't even think about this knife as a weapon. Is it a weapon? Sure. Right? Like it's a knife. I would rather have it than nothing. Which, as an aside, I keep seeing these. I saw somebody else do this too. If you could carry any weapon on you, what would you carry? And the number of people are like, I just use my hand. If you only use your hands, if you have the option to use a stick and you choose to only use your hands, you're foolish. There are very few situations where you're better off not having the stick. So I don't know if it's arrogance or ignorance that leads to that. Oh, whistlekick branded bottled water, perfect for hydration after training. Seems like a good use for a spring. I'm pretty sure there's some hoops I'd have to jump through for that. And I'd probably have to remove the frogs. There are frogs there. And I definitely, at some point before I start consuming water from that spring, because it's capped, meaning there's a big well, concrete things, and there's plenty of debris in there. And when I got in there to deal with it a couple weekends ago, there was a hornet's nest that I knocked in. So there's just a lot with extra frog. Whistlekick branded water with extra frog. I love it. The other thing that I carry, and you know, so many people carry a knife. A lot of people carry a knife. Most of the men that I know have a knife in their pocket at just about any time. But you know what I don't see very many people carrying? That when I started carrying this, it came in far more useful than I ever would have imagined. Flashlight. I think I bought 4 of these for $20 on Amazon. You know, you can see it's banged up. It's cheap. I don't care what happens to it. I lose it constantly. I think this might be the second one. But I pull that out all the time. Oh, I dropped something on the floor. I'm walking to my car and it's dark. Right? Many people may actually use a flashlight more than a knife. Something to consider. Something to consider carrying. I just wanted to throw that out there. It was something, they were sitting here on the table, and I just thought I would throw that out to everybody. So the chat's going really nuts about this whole frog thing. Frog water sounds like it would have a kick to it. Why not? I drink beer made with hops. Good protein. You guys are crazy. I walked out yesterday just because I'm obsessed with this water and the fact that it just keeps flowing. Like I have my own very small river in my backyard now. And I disturbed a grasshopper, a good sized grasshopper, probably, I don't know, probably about this big. And it hopped in the water and it was swimming around. And a frog who was barely larger went, oh, and jumped in the water, like on it and like bit it. But it wasn't enough to do anything. And it took like 4 strikes for this frog to bring down this grasshopper. And then the grasshopper was just swimming around and I got bored watching. But the frog was like, this is lunch for a while. It was funny. Nature's crazy. John's in the chat. I carry a flashlight and I use it all the time. Yeah, it's something that I don't think I missed it until I started carrying it. On the days when I don't have it for whatever reason, you know, I end up with, you know, having to dress a little more professionally and, you know, I don't have it right on me. There are times I'm like, oh, I wish I had my flashlight right now. Something to think about. Grasshopper is good for the Kung Fu folks, says Tommy. You know, a number of you I know are coming to Free Training Day. Make sure that's on your schedule. We will be rolling out a shirt design soon. I'm trying to get instructors lined up. I sent out some more invites yesterday. We are up to, I think, 11 confirmed. And it looks like we have 16 slots. That's where I think we're headed. So there are certainly some ways that this may change. I don't know, but keep reaching out. Keep reaching out. There were some invites I sent yesterday that weren't replied to, which was surprising. I reached out over social media. I know not everybody's using social media every day. A lot of people have pulled Facebook Messenger from their phones, but this is the best way I have of getting a hold of these people. So we're going to do that. Get that dialed in. Maybe end of the week, I'll work on the shirt design. If anybody's got ideas, if anybody wants to work on the shirt design with me, email me, jeremy@whistlekick.com. The shirt design we did in 2019 was pretty cool. This was not it. This was not it. This was when did we do this design? This is the XXL design. We've done this on shirts and sweatshirts a couple times. I like this shirt because it makes me feel jacked. Kind of tight. John says, the knife I carry is actually a small Leatherman with a pocket clip. I use it daily too. Very handy. And Daniel says, a decent solid torch or a flashlight can make for a really good weapon. They can really get some heft behind them. Yeah. Old mag lights hurt. Yeah, they certainly can. I'm a big fan of carrying things that I don't know are there. It's got to be light. It's got to be discreet. I don't want anything that really has mass to it. You know, I would still rather have this in my hand fighting with someone. You know, it creates a brace in my fist as I punch. And I've got small hands, so this sticks out, so I could still, you know, pop somebody in the skull with it. I'll take it. It's better than nothing. But I'm not carrying like a 4D cell mag light. I've got one of those somewhere. Can't remember the last time I used it. Remember why you used a mag light? 2 reasons. 1, they were super bright, and 2, they were super sturdy. This is brighter than my Mac light. And I even put an LED conversion in it. All right, let's go to the quotes. Frank gave us some quotes today. You know, I keep checking on Facebook. And actually, let me double check on YouTube. I haven't seen anybody else drop any comments in a while. Nope. All right. So we've got 4 quotes from famous boxers. Number 1. I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. Pretty famous quote from Muhammad Ali. Yeah. Training isn't always enjoyable. And this is a good example of where I say the why we do what we do can vary dramatically from person to person. And not only is that okay, but it's good. If I'm training for the exact same reasons you're training, then there's a good chance one of us isn't really thinking hard about our lives and how martial arts fits into it. There are aspects of training I love. There are aspects of training I don't. I have not trained much in the last 18 months. I'm very aware of that. Almost all of my training has been self-directed. If my why was different than it is, that may be a really big deal. It's not a big deal. I'm still a martial artist. I still train. I still kick. I can still do the things I need to do, I want to do. But now it's time to change that. Now it's time to get back into a class and figure out where my next martial arts home is. I do have kickboxing training scheduled for next week. I haven't trained with Terry and Paul in, well, it's been a year. It's been well over a year. So I'm pumped for that. I miss those guys. I'm going to have to leave that day. I have 30 minutes between the end of the show and being in the car. So yeah. I'll eat breakfast on the way. My mind's wandering. Pull it back. Next. Boxing is like jazz. The better it is, the less people appreciate it. George Foreman. Jazz is such an interesting art form. It's really interesting music. Most people seem to think jazz is just completely free form, but it's not. Jazz is very much like sparring. It's free form, but it has to fit within certain parameters that other people are contributing in real time. I'm not a musician. I'm never someone who's going to be out there playing jazz. That's not me. But I love the improvisational aspect of sparring. And you know where I think you know what I think is the closest to jazz? Capoeira. There's a hora in capoeira, the free form, the circle. Hora means circle. Because the goal is a little different. In most sparring, you're trying to make contact. You're trying to stop the match, the fight. In capoeira, you're not. You're trying to make contact, but keep going. You're trying to move with it. We should have some capoeira free training day. I'm assuming Bruno's going to come back. He's on my list. I got to talk to him. Stacy says, that explains so much. I love blues, but traditional jazz, oof. Sparring, oof. Interesting. I suspect, so Stacy and I have never sparred, but Stacy, we should probably try this. I know you've been to free training day. I know some of you in the chat have been to free training day. One of my favorite aspects of of the slow stuff that I teach is breaking it down in such a way that you can think faster than you move, right? For a lot of people, that's the struggle, is they can't think fast enough. So if you slow down the movement so it can completely change things. And the priority becomes different. And for a lot of people, the fear falls away. And if that's not enough, you start pulling tools out. What if it's just one hand? If I was to have my own martial arts school again, it would be based, the core of what we would do would be slow, restricted, free-form movement. I think that a lot of places will do the restriction or they'll do the slow. I do not know very many schools that will do both. I'd be totally down for slow class. There's a Bill Cosby joke in there. 2 completely different podcasts in 2 days talking to me about the form and rules of jazz. I was listening to Penn's Sunday School talking about how jazz has rules, but the best people broke those rules. How interesting. Jazz is interesting. I like jazz. Back when I DJ'd, the album that I would put on as people were coming into the reception hall, I primarily DJ'd weddings, was Miles Davis' Kind of Blue, which if you don't know that album, you might want to check it out. It's interesting in 2 ways. 1, it's a good example of jazz. 2, you can listen to it at different levels. It can be on in the background. It's just kind of there and it's kind of nice. Or if you sit and you really listen to it, you can hear the different layers in a way that you don't hear it in other music. It's hard to explain. Daniel says, you DJ'd. Is there literally anything in the world you don't do? I really like doing things that I've never done before. I like developing new skills. I don't like when someone says I can't do something. If someone says I can't do something or I shouldn't do something, that's pretty much almost a guarantee that I'm going to do it. When I approach a subject, I research, I try, I find experts, I read. I tend to immerse myself. The DJing started because I needed a hobby. My hobbies always turn into jobs. So I had this DJ equipment, and then a friend said, hey, can you DJ my wedding? You know, it'll save me $1,000. Sure. And then friends of friends started saying, hey, I heard you DJ. Can you DJ my wedding? And I went, sure. It was one of the easiest jobs I've ever had. I could probably go grab DJ gear again, and I could probably do it again and make a bunch of money. The problem is you give up all your weekends. And you know what made it easy? My ability to read people and a crowd kind of energetically. And where did that come from? Martial arts. You put on a song, you get a sense of the response, and then it helps you adjust from there. It's a good time. All right, let's do one more. To be a champ, you have to believe in yourself when no one else will. Sugar Ray Robinson. And that's a good one to end on. How many actions do we not take because we don't have the support of others? How much do we compromise our own lives, our training, our goals, our aspirations? I'm throwing words that mean the same thing at you, because we share our plan with someone else and they don't get it. You know, most of the world, most of the people around me still don't understand whistlekick. People who train still don't get it. They don't see the value in what we're doing. But most of you do. That's why you're watching. Most of the people who listen to martial arts radio do. The people who buy the books, who contribute to the Patreon, who download the programs, who wear a shirt. You see what's going on. You understand the mission. Most of you. So am I going to listen to all of them, or myself, my gut, you. If you're trying to change the world, if you're trying to do something that is unlikely, uncommon, the very fact that most people don't understand it and might even disagree with it is actually proof that you're on the right path. If you're trying to do something different and everyone else gets it, it's not different. It's the same. Stacy says, with you, Jeremy. I have a Japanese folktale published in Latin because my teacher told me I couldn't do it. I love it. I absolutely love it. I hope you have a great day. Go forth and do great things. Believe in yourself. Kick something. Punch something. I don't know. Do something fun. Check out the flexibility program. Go listen to or watch an episode of Martial Arts Radio. Go to YouTube and watch the How to Fight episodes. I don't know. Do something. We as martial artists, we're doing big things. Thanks for being part of it. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Peace.